How I made this and welcome back to my channel. I know I've been a naughty sailor because I haven't posted in a long while. And especially I've never actually posted the review I promised you a long time ago. You know, I've been busy with earning my bread and butter, plundering, smuggling, that kind of shit. But now I'm back to deliver the goods, not the smuggled goods I mentioned earlier, but actually the full unbiased review of the new Hurdy Gurdy. Now you've been waiting for this for a long time. I've actually shot many different versions, but I never liked them because I didn't like the sound or I didn't like the lighting, etc. etc. So this is probably my last attempt at the video review. I'm still not satisfied, but I mean, who cares? I promise you a review, I'm going to make one. Now, the Hurdy Gurdy I'm going to review now is by Vrabel, a Hungarian craftsman. This is it. This is the Baroque model. He actually makes three different models: the Baroque, the Galician, and the Hungarian. The Galician is the one without the trumpet, even though you can see trumpets on the pictures on his website. So I don't really know. And the third model, the Hungarian or Tekero, is actually, it's got only one chanter. That's pretty much different, and the shape changes, of course, but apart from that, not much. Now, Vrabel is an old school kind of craftsman. He makes lots of instruments, lutes, zithers, bagpipes of several kinds, tromba marina, and a few other instruments I can barely remember. His hurdy-gurdys are, well, sturdy, cheap, and they deliver the goods, I think, everything considered. They're not particularly beautiful, but I think they're worth what they're worth. This model, the Baroque, has got two chanters, one drone and one trumpet. It's got 22 keys, all made of wood, wooden tangents as well. These big tuning pegs, which are actually a pain tune, they're terrible because they make a lot of attrition, but still, it's quite loud, as you will hear later on. And well, nothing to say about the wheel or anything else in particular. I actually love the trumpet. It's very crude the way it's made, but ingenious. The chien is actually just a tangent that's been carved. It's got a notch where the string sits, and the tension of the trumpet is controlled by the violin tuning peg and the fishing line. So it's very crude, but it works. And furthermore, if your chien breaks, you can just carve another tangent, and here you go. I haven't mentioned it, but together with the instrument, Vrabel sent me a few extra tangents. So that's a plus as well. You can use them if you break one of the tangents. You can use them to replace your chien, and kind of useful, I think. So of course, well, I've got nothing to say about the handle or the bridge. It's a simple instrument. Okay, it's quite basic. You don't have adjustable bridges or capos or I don't know, other, like, you can ask for extra strings, extra chanters, or extra strings like the sympathetic strings, but I don't care about them actually, so I didn't want them on my Hurdy. Now, one of the most interesting things about the instrument is actually the price. How much do you pay for one of these? 600 euros. Yes. And the other models, like I think the Hungarian model is somewhat cheaper, so like 50 euros cheaper or something like that. Am I actually telling you you can get a full working hurdy-gurdy with everything it needs for only 600 euros? Yes, I am. So you might be wondering, what's the catch? Well, frankly, the catch is, first, Hungary's got lower wages, lower cost of life, lower prices in general, lower fences and lower walking sticks and lower everything, lower mortality rate.
or everything?
Hungary. Secondly, well, you can only buy these by email. As I told you, Vrabel is not one who's much interested into internet and stuff. I think it's his son or something. Mihaly Vrabel actually manages the online trade for him, and yes, you make a bank transfer to his bank account, you send him your address, and you get this. That's it basically. You have to trust him, of course, yes. There's no eBay or PayPal in the, as a mediator between you two. That's part of the catch. And third, this is the kind of instrument that makes nothing easy. Hard to tune, lots of maintenance, this kind of stuff. Really, nothing possible, but yeah, it's not one of those plug and play instruments, not at all. But that's it. I mean, there's no other catch at all, and I'm actually very satisfied with it. Now, you probably want to listen to me playing this beauty here. I'm going to do that, but before I do, please bear in mind that I've changed actually a lot of things. I've changed strings, for example. These actually come with gut strings. I've replaced them all with, I've replaced the chantas with cello G strings because they are thicker and they're made of the iron wood, which means they don't lose the tuning as much as gut strings. They're more durable and they're lower in pitch, and actually like this. On the other hand, they rattle a bit. Let's hear how this sounds. Oh, and there's a free leather strap together with the instrument, which is fine. So to sum it up, can I actually compare that to high-end instruments? Well, no. Of course, if you buy one of those beautiful Hurdy Gurdy crafters, or I don't know, there's many. I don't want to really talk about any maker in particular because there are hundreds only in Europe, not to mention the rest of the world, and most of them are very good, and the instruments are very expensive because they're very good. So, I don't like to make comparisons. I actually tried once Sergio Verna's Hurdy Gurdys. He's an Italian maker. They were wonderful, of course, but then so much also depends on the setup, etc. So, to sum it up, I think if you compare it to something that stands on pretty much the same level, like, I don't know, the Hurdy Gurdy that you've seen in the previous video, or probably the Hurdy Gurdy, the one you have to make yourself. I think it's probably the best one if compared to other instruments that stand on the same level. I'm not even mentioning the galloping Gurdys and that kind of firewood. So I totally think it's worth a shot. If you still, I mean, if you really want to play the Hurdy Gurdy, well, then go and watch my video why not to buy Hurdy Gurdy. If you watch the video and then you still convinced you want to buy one, you should probably go for one of the Vrabel models, because I think that up to date is one of the best ones. You might want to buy the Hurdy Gurdy because you can build it yourself and it's kind of fun, and it's cheaper than the Vrabel. Or that's fine by me. I don't have an Hurdy Gurdy, I haven't tried it personally, but from what I've seen on YouTube, I think it's kind of decent instruments. Like, again, you get what you pay for, but it works. Other than that, I don't actually think that in this price range Vrabel has any real competitors. If there are any, please let me know, and I'll, could like think about buying one and make another review maybe. So everything you have to say, write in the comments below. Also, well, if I have to consider pros and cons, I mean, if I actually have to compare the Vrabel to the Hurdy Gurdy, I have to say one thing in favor of the Hurdy Gurdy. It basically needs no maintenance. I mean, you rosin the wheel, you cut on the strings, off you go. I never actually fine-tuned, I never felt the need of doing that. I've never done anything to it. I mean, it's pretty much as close as you can get to plug and play. On the other hand, I think I spent a couple of weeks after the Vrabel Gurdy arrived by mail. I think I spent a couple of weeks just tuning, adjusting, rosining, etc. So yes, it totally needs a lot of care. So, well, to sum it up, I mean, the Vrabel Gurdy has got gut strings, which I like. I changed them, but it's still a nice thing to have. It's got a trumpet, it's got a bourdon, it's got two chanters, nice thing to have. It's cheap, I mentioned that already more than once. It's got a leather strap that is attached to the instrument and it's very solid, so that's a pro again. Really, I don't really find anything that's like totally bad with that instrument. Okay, it's got like terrible tuners, which make the instrument quite difficult to set to the exact right tuning. But then you can overcome that by changing, if you're into woodcraft and stuff, you can change them for guitar tuning mechanics. I've seen someone do that on the internet. I'm actually going to do that as well on my instrument. So, nothing you cannot work around. I mean, if I think that I have to pay like, I don't know, 700 euros more than that to have nicer tuning pegs and a trumpet which isn't made of a carved tangent but sounds pretty much the same, I don't really see the reason. Of course, there are other features which are more important. Again, if you're worried about the rattling sound, that's mainly due to the little cover lock, which tends to rattle. Well, you can get rid of that maybe. And to the strings, I actually like lower pitches. The original gut strings that came with the instruments were fine. I mean, they perfectly did their job as long as you tune them in E and the bourdon in G. That is the standard tuning of the instrument as Vrabel puts it. With that setup, they work just fine. The point is, I like lower pitches, so I had to find thicker strings to obtain what I wanted. And I'm very satisfied with cell strings, except they tend to rattle a lot. I still think, in my opinion, it's the trade-off is quite positive. I can stand with the rattling instrument, I cannot stand with the screeching instrument, so that's my personal point of view, of course. So, that's it for now. I'm going to make more reviews, but of other instruments. No spoilers yet. But please subscribe to my channel.
Subscribe to my channel, you land lubbers.